We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Welcome to the Mouthpiece. Today's special edition, we're going to have a tribute to Doyle Brunson, who we lost yesterday. Been a tough weekend for me. We'll talk about everything. The Mouthpiece is next. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this special edition of the Mouthpiece. As you all know, yesterday we lost Doyle Brunson, the godfather of poker. A good friend of mine. Me and Doyle really weren't that close the last 7, 8, 9 years because I really didn't play much poker live since my injury. But I've remained very close friends with his son Todd, and so the news of this yesterday was a little bit shocking. I heard that he had been really sick though the last few weeks, I really wasn't up to speed on it. But there's a lot of people. We're gonna have a lot of people come in on Zoom. People have known Doyle for many years. Try and let them tell you stories that they could. I was going to try and get Billy Baxter on. I talked to him. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it tonight. He has so many good stories. With me, I had that nerve block done on Friday, and unfortunately it's dealt me some severe pain the last few days, so I've been like bedridden, so kind of in a lot of pain, so kind of doing this because I think it's important for the poker world to kind of get an idea of people who didn't really understand who Doyle was. Doyle was a guy that really was a road gambler. You kind of compare, like Sean D wrote a tweet the other day, like, oh, I'm cruising through Texas, hitting all these card clubs. I feel like Doyle in the 70s. It's pretty funny. And then Doyle passed away yesterday. He had literally put that tweet out like 16 hours earlier. But, so that's kind of like what poker was, where you just had to, kind of like go to shady calls and a lot of, that's why people used to ask me about like slow rolling, and I'd say, well, Doyle used to always tell me if somebody slow rolled you back in the day, they'd shoot you, So it's a different thing, and Doyle, like he came up and won the World Series twice, and I kind of met Doyle in I turned professionally in 1996, and I met Doyle in I would say the beginning of 1998, so about 25 years ago, and I was crushing. I was making a lot of money, and I was a new kid on the block, and I was playing with his son Todd like almost every day, and he said something to me that really kind of changed the course of my career. And I was playing like 100, 200 limit hold'em. Limit hold'em was really the game that everybody played. People only played no limit like once a year at the series, and some of the bigger games like that Doyle and Chip and then they played a lot of no limit, but deuce to 7 stuff like that. But I was playing limit hold'em and 100, 200, and then we were playing. Then I was just learning how to play the mixed games. I was just learning how to play Stud 8 and Omaha 8, and for 1998 through around 2002, that's what we played. We basically played 400, 800, up to 8 and 1600, like Omaha 8, Stud 8, and Hold'em. Sometimes they even threw Stud in there, but that was kind of like the game. But I was crushing, making a lot of money, and Doyle's come up to me, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, what's up, kid? I heard you're like the new kid on the block, making all the money, blah blah blah." And he says to me, "Look, you should start playing higher." He goes, "Because if you don't play high enough to where you feel it, if you lose, you're not playing high enough." And I was like, that was an interesting quote, because it made sense, And of course, Doyle was so loved by everybody, and he was like somebody everybody looked up to. So I was like, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe I got to play higher, And here I'm sitting on new kid. Scotty Wynn just won the World Series. I had like $350,000. I probably had about 500K bankroll, 600K bankroll at the time, and I'm like, okay, I got to start playing higher. So next thing you know, Doyle gets me in the 400, 800 game, and the rest of the story was about ready to be told. So I end up losing all my money, playing 400, 800, and I used to always look back at it and say, did Doyle get me to play that 400, 800 game and tell me I needed to play higher because I needed to feel it? Or did he do it because he wanted to get my money? Probably both. But it became something that I thought about for many years, where he was right. You as a gambler, when you're younger, you have to, if you're winning every day, and when you lose, doesn't bother you, then you're not playing high enough. And he was right. And we get the rush. I've talked about this on the show many times. Is the rush out of playing high enough to where you lose 50 or 60,000. I mean, you, whatever your threshold is. Some people it's 200,000-300,000. Some people it's a 7-figure loss. Been a lot of 7-figure losses in the poker world nowadays, and those days weren't very common. Back in the days, the $100,000 loss, we used to call it a bean. If you lost a bean, you'd hear it. They'd talk about it. Mike Madison lost a bean last night, or Freddie Deeb lost a bean. Everybody would know somebody lost big, and so that's kind of where it kind of stood for kind of a while. Like, even though Doyle and Chip and them, they played, 1-2,000, 2-4,000. Ellie Lesro would play with them, and Phil Ivey and them. But those games didn't really start where they were playing big every day until Andy Beal came to town. Most of the times, like, biggest game would be like 1600 mix. So, let me turn this off here. Hold on a second. And so, something that I always think about a lot, like, what would my career have been if Doyle didn't tell me, Mike, you got to play higher? Would I have just been a 100, 200 crusher that made a bunch of money? Or would I have ever started playing high enough to where I started playing all the big tournaments? And, so, it's something that's one of the quotes I think about all the time. I remember, again, I was very friendly with Doyle, but I was not close really with him. Me and Todd are pretty good friends. We played every day, 400, 800 for years. And I talk about talk about, when a lot of times when Chip Reese passed away in, I think it was April of 2007, and me and Todd, we were teaching a WPT course we're in the Bahamas, and it was really kind of shocking, and Chip and Doyle were like me and Phil, actually way closer. I mean, me and Phil are pretty close, but they did everything together. They played every day together. They grew up together. I've heard so many stories. But it was, you hear about so many of the newer players, Scott Seaver when they first met Doyle, Mike Gordinsky when he first met Doyle, Ben Lamb, it's like, yeah, you kind of look up to people. I remember the first time I played poker with Huck Seed right after he won the World Series in 1996. We're playing 40, 80 limit hold'em, and he's like, wow, you're really good. And me and him were like the only good players playing in this game. And that's kind of like right when I knew I was going to be good, when a guy who just won the World Series told me how good I was. And then me and Huck, we remained pretty good friends. Doyle just was a really good-hearted person, very religious person, and very, good man of faith. Been with his, wife since he was 27 years old. So, I probably played. Me and Doyle probably played together. Oh God, I don't know, 30, 40 times. One thing I could tell you about Doyle is nobody hated to lose more than him. I think he hated to lose more than Phil hates to lose. And he would whine and whine. He loved whining when he lost, but it's just like anything else, when you win, people don't like to lose, you know what I'm saying? But he was a fun to play with, always gentleman, just really, he was a funny guy. I mean, he was really a funny guy. I wish I credit him and Chip for keeping me out of trouble in 2004. When I first got set up, and they had all these bullshit charges against me. I had originally gotten a lawyer, and then I told Todd about it, and Todd told Doyle and told Chip, and they ended up, getting me David Chesnoff as a lawyer, and I ended up only having to do 6 months, for something I didn't even do, where they wanted to put me in jail for 10 years. So, Doyle was a good person. He cared about everybody in the poker world. He'd do what he can to beat you out of your money, but he pretty much cared about everybody. That he's just a good man, good person. You'll hear phony things about him, when they used to be the road when they were in the Gamblers, or people would say bad things about him or Chip, but they just weren't true. Not that I know of. I mean, I've always thought of him as one of the most honest people I ever played with or even hung around. But we're going to try and get some people to call in, people who knew him really well. Matt Savage is going to call in, trying to get Daniel to come on, trying to get Jennifer to come on, and see who else we can get to come on the show. Let me see. And so, it's the one thing is about this show that we've done with different shows about, reaching out to so many different people is, this is more of a celebration of life, not where we lost, when we lost Blaine Flack, or when we lost Gavin Smith, even when we lost Sam Grizzle. Like, this man lived 89 years old. He died, my dad died at 89, had a full life. I mean, if you'd have told Doyle 20 years ago he was going to live to be 89, he probably wouldn't have believed you, So it's really weird. So I was like thinking about poker, the World Series coming up, and I literally the other day was thinking, I wonder how much time, we have with Doyle. Like, he's getting older. I started thinking about all the other people that are getting older, and even me, like 55 years old. When I first came up and I met Doyle. I was 20. Let's see, this is 1990. I met him in 1998, 25. So I was 30. I started playing professionally at 28, and so 25 years ago, he was 64, right? So it's 9 years older than I am now. Man, I was just a kid, and so I think about a lot of the funniest stories, like when Doyle had a Doyle's room during the height of the poker boom, right? And like, he was offered something like 117 million or some crazy number to sell Doyle's room, and he didn't sell it. And then the UIG came by, and then instead of having like 120 million, he got like 6 million or something for it. We all make mistakes, but Doyle's a good guy. One of the most loved people in poker. I'm gonna try and get some people on that played with him in the big game every day. Jennifer, trying to get. Hang on a second.
If anybody needs the link, give me their number and I'll send it to them.
See if Elliot Lesro wants to come on too. And so, it's life is precious, man. And Doyle lived life to the fullest. He was always so nice to everybody and so wonderful. He did whine the most playing poker, but it was a funny whine. It was it really was funny to watch him play when playing with him when he's losing. Let me see if I can get Eli to come on here. Just a second, guys. People like Eli, Ellie and Jen, they played with him every day. I played with this. Me and Todd we're good friends. I talked to Todd a lot, and we used to play. There was me, Todd, and Todd's best friend Curtis Bibb at the time, and we used to play a guy named Magic and Tommy Fisher, and we would play 400 and 800 every day, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week for like 4 years at the Bellagio. So well, Phil's busy. I don't know if I can get Phil to call in. He's busy with this room in Texas, but I will text him right now to see if I could get him to call in.
I texted him.
You did? Did he text you back?
No, I sent him the Zoom link.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did he answer?
No.
Okay, of course he didn't. Let's see. we'll see what we could get here, and we'll have people who want to call in, people who don't have Zoom link to the show. Matt Sowers is going to try and get as many people as we can out to see who wants to say anything about Doyle touched our lives. Okay, Eli got back to me. Okay. He says, no, it's too early for him. He's pretty upset. Maybe it's WSOP. Okay, whatever. Yeah. It is a lot. It's pretty emotional for a lot of people. A lot of people who played with, really close to Doyle. I don't know. We'll find out when the funeral arrangements are going to be or what's going to be set up. Todd will reach out to me. So, anyways, let's see what Jen says. Okay. No, alrighty. Yeah, a lot of people who are really close to him really don't, pretty taking it hard. They really don't. It's kind of a little emotional for him right away. It's kind of like why I kind of didn't want to do this right away. But I thought it was important to kind of reach out and see what the poker world really wanted to say about it. So, yeah, that's okay. No big deal. I thought it was a good day, too. There wasn't much sports going on. Well, do we want to have Matt come on, or?
Yeah, I told him he's in Slovenia or Slovakia.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I told him we're ready for him whenever. He should be coming on soon.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, yeah. I probably, we could have done this at the end of the week, too. But there'll be I'll be talking a lot more about it on the show on Friday, and we'll see what people have to say. So, listen,
We could open up the phone lines to listeners right now if they want to call in.
Yeah, we could do that too.
I'll just open it. We don't have to play the intro.
Yeah, all right. So anybody who wants to call in the show and ask any questions, we're going to open up the phone line, 702-329-0480. And so if any of you guys want to call in and talk about or ask any questions, we'll try and get more people on. I guess because this happened so quickly, yesterday, a lot of people are kind of pretty upset about it. So, it is what it is. I remember when Doyle won his 10th bracelet, his last one at the series. I think that was around 2007. When was the last time he won that? I think he won his 10th bracelet in 2007, I think it was. And then I remember, Doyle, one of Doyle's greatest feats was when he won the Legends of Poker down at the Bicycle Club. So, he was one of the very few people at the time, won the main event, won a WPT. I mean, he did it at age 75 or something like that. So, it's pretty amazing, I kind of, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, don't really have my energy today that I normally have. This was a little bit shocking last night to me. More of the reasons because I wasn't, kind of up to speed that he was sick. Welcome to Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. It's Thomas Rodri from the Netherlands,
Yes.
Rotterdam.
How are you?
Hi. I'm just stunned that Doyle died.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he would,
I'm really sad.
it is sad, but he lived a full life. I mean, he's 89. He had he'd been through a lot. He got to even experience, having a grandkid. Back in 5 years now, almost 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
Okay.
So that that was really good, and life is precious. The World Series starting in a couple weeks. It's so weird. Like it's happened. It seems like we always lose somebody in the poker world right before the series starts. I don't know why that is, but it just happens.
Right.
It's I'm I'm a little bit stunned over it myself. I was hoping to have more people on the show today and kind of talk about it. And too many people are really hurt. They're really stunned about it, and again, I understand, and so
Yeah, I can imagine that. Can you record ever that Doyle was angry about something?
Oh, well, I mean, nah, Doyle was a really easy getting on guy. He hated losing. I mean,
Because we as the viewers, I never saw Doyle
no.
angry or
No.
frustrated in a live event or at the WCP
No.
or ever,
No, he never got upset. Even when he lost, he never got upset. I mean, he never got angry. He got upset. He hated losing,
Right.
But I'm not one of the people that really played that much with him. Like I said, I probably played with Doyle 30 or 40 times, but so many people that I know, that just played every day with him. People like Ellie and Jennifer and Gus and so many other people. But I was hoping to have a bunch of people on, and unfortunately they're pretty upset, and rightfully I get it. It's kind of too soon. I probably should have waited a week. But I also felt that the poker world was so stunned over it that I'd kind of reach out and try and say kind of what I kind of felt. You know what I mean?
Well, I almost directly thought about you that you may be doing a podcast because I talked to you yesterday or the day before yesterday. Just reminded you about Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And on Mother's Day he passed away. It's so unreal.
Yeah.
So I directly thought about you that you might do a podcast like with Mike. What is the?
Well,
you know the one.
Yeah, and so I was going. I was hoping to do one like I did with Mike Sexton.
Mike Sexton, yeah.
And what I did with Lane, and I was, I was thinking maybe towards the end of the week. I knew people, it was going to be really hard on people and really tough. But when it's kind of like, listen, when my father died at 89 3 years ago, right? You know, I was I was upset, but you know, you live a pretty good life, you know, and you know, people can't live forever. You know, one thing we're all gonna die, right? So
Yeah.
whenever our time
Well,
is, our
definitely.
time is. And one thing that I respected the most about Doyle is he was a very religious person. You know, he believed in God. He believed in his religion. He believed, you know, to live life on this earth the way treat it. You know, just make the most out of life. You know, don't really worry about like the bad things that are going to happen. You know, have belief in God. You know, family and God. You know, were very important to him and very important to most people. And I think you know, in the world that we live in nowadays, one of the biggest problems that the world deals with is people don't have that belief in God and the belief in family and things that ground them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Well, I'm not religious, so
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
yeah. And listen, I'm one of those people that I'm not a really strong believer in God, but I'm not a really believer in religion because even though I am Jewish, and it's because people like to force their own religion on other people. And if everybody would just respect everybody's beliefs, we wouldn't have some of the problems we have. That's the only reason why I think like that. But you know.
And did Doyle have more children than that?
Oh yeah, he had Todd and Pam, brother and sister. I think that's just those two. I mean, I was good friends with both of them.
And does Pam play poker also?
No, she used to, but not really much. No, not anymore. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I appreciate the call and
Okay.
and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, you know, I like I said, I was hoping to get more people on today, and we, you know, I again being so soon, I thought that, you know, I just felt that I thought you know, it is hard on a lot of people that are really close to them. So we'll see how many people we get on today. Welcome to the Mouthpieces, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, this is Eric.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm good, man. I've been watching you for years and admiring you and Doyle for a long time, and just wondering if I could call up and say a little prayer.
Yeah. I appreciate it. You know, it's like
love each of you.
I reached out to Todd today. You know, it's just like, you know, it's like Todd was saying. It's like he's more worried about his mother. You know, his mother. They've been together since he was 27.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's funny. It's like, that's why, you know, I reach out. I talk about the poker world, right? I say, you know, we're a tight knit group. This poker world is not hundreds of thousands of people. You see what I'm saying? Like, even if you even add all the people that are watching all the streams around the world, right? I mean, it's still how many people in the poker world that are in the poker world on a daily basis, you know, 50,000, 30,000, you know what I'm saying? And even when you go to the World Series every year, you know, we play all the big games, the big mixed games. There's 200 of us, you know what I mean? So it's a small knit group. It's a small world, and that's why when people are out saying bad things about other people, you know, it's like I try and say, you know, let's try and be better. Let's try and get along. Let's try and, you know, to appreciate things, you know. Even when we talk about. I brought it up on my show many times. Is one of the things that in almost all sports or games, people respect who comes before you. Like I respect the Doyle Brunsons of the world. When I was first coming up and I met Doyle and I was playing Limit Hold. I was playing with Johnny Moss right before he died. Puggy Pearson. These are the people that he grew up playing with every day. And it's very important in the poker world to understand that, especially how it's grown. Like you got to respect the people that come before you, even if you think they can't play poker now. It's like, if it wasn't for Doyle Brunson, if it wasn't for Mike Sexton, if it wasn't for Daniel Magranou, Phil Ivey, me, Huckseed, so many people who had a vision of where poker is today, that without that vision, we don't have Maury and Henry Orenstein creating the whole cam, which creates the World Poker Tour, which creates the World Series and the moneymaker effect. And so many of these kids, these 21-year-old kids that were born in 2002, the first year that, like, when we first got the whole card cam was, I think, 2002 or 2003. No, it wasn't even 2002. It was like 2004. So, poker just, they think that they look at all these poker tournaments and this is how it always was. No, there was like 125 of us in the late 90s. When I first turned professional in 1998, in 1996 I became professional, but when I staked Scotty, when he won the World Series in 1998, there was only 328 people in the main event. Now, when you're down to 328 people, everybody's like thinking, oh, how close you are to winning it, or, oh, how deep you are, but you're not really deep at all. When you're down to like 300 people, you might think you're deep, but that's how many we started with in 25 years ago. You know what I mean? So, poker's come a long way, and Doyle Brunson is a big part of it.
Well, thank you, Mike. Can I share a little 10-second prayer?
Sure.
Yeah, well, thanks to you for hosting this, and God bless all that Doyle has touched, the people he's inspired, the people he has battles he's fought, and the people inspired for the years to come. And I appreciate you doing this, Mike. And I've known you for a long time, and you didn't even know that, and I appreciate what you're doing right now. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling in the Mouthpiece. Appreciate it. And we're gonna have we're gonna have a few people on. Matt Savage wants to come on, and he wants to talk a lot. Him and Doyle were pretty close. Yeah. Hello, welcome to the Mouthpiece.
Hi, Mike. I love your show. I watch you every Friday.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I was just wondering, have you ever read his book Super System? And what's your opinion of that particular book? And why is Doyle been so amazingly good at this game? And is he hard to play against?
Well, the thing is where I never did read Super Systems. As a matter of fact, I've only read one poker book in my life, and when I first started how to play. But I learned a lot from talking with a lot of the old school gamblers. Like when I was first learning how to play No Limit Hold'em, right? When I first came up, I was like one of the top 4 Limit Hold'em players in the world. I was crushing. And like me, Todd, Jennifer, we would play 100, 200, limit hold'em every day, and they were really good, and I was I was just like a new kid on the block, and they didn't, Todd and Doyle at first didn't really like me because I was very loud. I talked a lot, and so when poker came up, like you were a rounder, right? You just kept your mouth shut. You went in there, you hustled people, you took their money, right? And so I was kind of like one of the very first like new type of people that like really ran their mouth and talked a lot. Like I didn't give a fuck. Like I would make fun of you. I would talk all the shit, right? And so a lot of people always ask me where did my name Mike the Mouth come from, and it didn't come from Mike the Mouth. It came from Todd Brunson, who called me Loudmouth Mike, because my voice was so loud and you could hear it across the room, and I would drive people crazy. And so when poker started to take off, I just basically took on. Everybody had a nickname, Doyle's name was Dolly, Scotty Wynn, everybody had a nickname, so I just went with Mike the Mouth. I thought it was a good nickname at the time, but it was Todd that actually named me Loudmouth Mike, and then me and Todd, we were pretty friendly, and I said, what do you think? Once with the TV started getting big, should I go with Mike the Mouth? And so, Doyle gave me a lot of props. He he believed that I was the best Omaha 8 or better player in the world. He told everybody, and everybody in the poker world believed it, and I still believe it now. Am I still the best Omaha 8 or better player in the world? I would try to say probably not, because I don't play every day. You know what I mean? I'm back to playing no limit hold'em every day. If I start playing mixed games every day and challenging people to head up Omaha 8 or better every day, could I be the best again? Sure. Am I the best right now? No. But it's just like it's because of I'm 55. I had a serious injury. It's very hard for me to play poker live every day. So it's very to play at a high level at any game, you got to play every day. And that's what the one thing that you say about Doyle is like he used to always say, if I quit playing poker, like I used to say, I think it was about a couple of years ago, like, why are you still playing, playing so high? Because, he always loved playing high limit, and he was starting to deteriorate, the last 2-3 years. And, you don't want to see people playing super high limit, when they're kind of deteriorating a little bit. But, he was really sharp. I would have to say, up until, the only decline I saw was maybe 3 years ago, maybe it started. But, he was sharp into his 80s, really
was
sharp.
Was he a better cash game player or tournament player?
Oh, he was a cash game. He was a great cash game player. He played the biggest. He played the biggest cash games you could play. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I have one question for you, just a little off topic for the World Series. Are you going to be having a video guy taping you or vlogging any of your?
I'm gonna be vlogging all the World Series, and I'm going to be putting out daily vlogs just like I did last year and the year before and the year before.
Mm-hmm. You going to play online too?
I will play some, but I don't know if I could stream them. I do like streaming them, but it's like when I sit in this chair and do my podcast, every week, it's very hard on me because of the, I don't know what, but like whenever I play these tournaments and I stream them, like 6-7 hours in, I'm in just terrible pain and I lose focus, and honestly, the truth of the matter is I've always been a great live game player, and I have become pretty good at online because that's all I've really done the last 3 years. But I also play with the same people pretty much every day, and it's a lot easier to play, with the same people every day than it is, playing outside of that. So that's kind of where it's kind of improved a little bit for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, the online was pretty entertaining. I have to say, with the way you break down the hands, and I was hooked on watching. Those online games.
It's
It was
so
really
funny.
entertaining.
And a lot of people that would watch me play would be like, they don't, they're like, they don't really like, because they play so much differently or whatever than I do. But I'm the type of guy that's just kind of, plays tight and uses my image to maneuver around. And some people are super aggressive and they think that that's the right way to play. And there's not really one right way to play. Everybody, you gotta kind of fall into your niche and do that.
Right. Well, rest in peace, Doyle. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, you got it, my man. Take care.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Yeah, somebody you made a point. You watched me on TV. Doyle didn't seem to act like he liked me. No, Doyle liked me. We got along good. I was too loud for him. So like if he's next to me and he's playing, I'm talking, and my voice would carry, it would drive him crazy, But that's just how I was. Nothing really I could say. He was a very nice man. I learned a lot of life, just from a few things he told me. Like I said, I don't think I would be the poker player I am today, without a few things that he told me. So, like I said, I wasn't one of the people that was really close to him, where I kind of wish I was hoping to get some more people on here today that kind of were. So, we'll see. What we could get on here today, and if not, it's really important to people that don't know him, they want to call in and ask some questions, or it kind of it kind of really sucks, but it is what it is. Let me see if Maury wants to come on. I wonder if Maury wants to come on.
I texted Maury.
What did Maury say?
I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah.
Matt just got back to the hotel, so he should be coming on soon.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think Matt's also reaching out to people.
Yeah. So, it's kind of a little bit too soon. Probably, it happened yesterday. I probably should have set this up more towards the end of the week, but it's is what it is. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. And anybody wants to call in, talk, 702-329-0480. Call me in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So interesting weekend for me. I've been, I told you I had my procedure done on Friday, and last 2 days I've been in debilitating pain. Kind of woke up today feeling a little bit better, but that's why I had this done 3 weeks before. So I'm hoping it's going to get better. It's kind of tough. Yeah, Doyle was a world-class player into his 80s. Johnny Moss you're definitely right. Jim, it's good to hear from you. You can call on the show, Jim, 329-0480. I haven't talked to you in a while. Yeah, Jim Boyd, he'll tell you. We played together in the late 90s, early 2000s. And, yeah, Johnny Moss kind of, really lost it last, think he died at like 76, but the last 3-4 years he was pretty much gone. But yeah, the Doyle was really playing really well into his 80s. I was even talking with I'm having a brain fart right now. With Billy Baxter today, and he's 82 and he's playing poker every day, and enjoying it every day, So, and he's still sharp as can be, and just because even my dad was sharp as can be till the day he died. It's not like Joe Biden, who's 80 and has dementia, but most people are able to pretty much keep it together, and I don't know. Doyle's a good man. I'm hoping we have a lot of people calling that have more Doyle stories. I don't really have that many. I play with him like 30 times. I did probably drive him more crazy than most people because of the fact that I talk so loud and it would drive him fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? And it would annoy him a lot. But he was always very nice to me, and I think I had him on. He came on when we had the Mike Sexton podcast, and he was just a good guy, But 702-329-0480. Anybody want to call me in? You can. Yeah, I had a nerve block in the steroid in the epidural space at T6 and 7. So supposedly I'm supposed to be out of pain in 3 to 5 days. So we'll see. Yeah, I hope so. I feel pretty good that I'm going to have a good year this year at the World Series. Well, I've said that the last 2 years. I mean, like last year, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't really win anything. I didn't lose anything, but I just couldn't make a hand deep in tournaments. I told myself last year I should have played more no limit. I played 5 no limit events. I cashed 4, final tabled 1. But this year I'm definitely going to play some more no limits. I'm probably going to play the 25K and the 50K. And so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And that's if you guys want to buy a piece of me, pokerstakes.com. I'm selling up to 50% of myself on these 10Ks and higher. I'm playing all of the events except for the 100K or the 250K or the 50K no limits. I'm playing them all. Now, if I sell out, I'll play them. I'm putting up if I play the 250K, I'm going to put up 25K, 10%. If I play the 100K, I'm going to put up 10%. I really don't need to play for more than that. It's more like, playing just because I believe that I am one of the best no-limit players again. And so if I get in them, I'll see if I can prove it. If not, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna I think I never made a bracelet bet on myself. The last 2 years I bet on I made a bracelet bet and I didn't win. And I don't know if I will. I probably will this year too. Welcome to Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey Mike, what's going on? This is Phil's friend Vic.
Hey Vic, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Yeah, you gave me two bets recently, and they both fucking won magically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been pretty locked in on on this NBA. I mean, I don't bet much. I bet like $1,000 on the playoffs just for fun. But I did tell everybody that I could that the Lakers, you could bet. I told everybody, bet whatever you want on the Lakers against the Warriors in Game 6 and lay all the alt lines. I said they're going to win by 20, and they did. So
Smoked them.
that was pretty good. I had Vegas yesterday in hockey plus $1.85. I thought they were going to win the series. I really thought that that he made a big mistake, the Oiler coach, by staying with Skinner. I mean, Skinner was terrible, and whenever he brought Campbell in, Campbell played great. And I felt the goaltending. Well, what happened with Vegas got a break with our coach should have benched Bruce Waugh. The only reason why he benched him is he got injured. I think that really kind of like saved Vegas the series in the hockey. But I'm looking forward to this NBA coming up here. This Final Four.
I got a question. What was like your most like shocking loss? Like a crazy sequence of events, and you ended up losing when you thought you were going to win or something.
The worst loss, without a doubt. Now, it wasn't for the most money, okay? But without a doubt, the worst loss I ever took was California and Oklahoma college football. And with 5 seconds to go, California scored to make it a 2-point game, and I was getting plus 3.5. And they went to kick the extra point and got it blocked. And the other team ran it back for 2, and I lost by 4 with 5 seconds to go. That was the worst beat I ever took. Now, it wasn't for the most money, right?
It's more. That's what I was kind of gonna say. Like, just not about the money. It's just a crazy loss.
I mean, I had both games that are on Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats opening segment. I actually had both of them. I had the Duke that was getting 10.5. And was up by 3 and had first and goal at the 3-yard line of Cincinnati with 26 seconds to go to put the game away. And then they fumbled the ball, and Cincinnati's very first play went 98 yards, and that put Cincinnati up by 4 with 16 seconds to go. And the very first play, they threw a pick 6, and they won by 11. Cincinnati laying 10.5. You see that on Van Pelt's Bad Beats all the time. Yeah. And I also had the Ohio State versus Northwestern, when Northwestern led by 4, getting 10.5, or 3.5, getting 10 with like 36 seconds to go, and Ohio State scores with 18 seconds, and then on the last play of the game, you see all the laterals, and the Ohio State falls on it and it lands on 10, and I think I was getting 9.5.
You never seem to be on the good side of it, right?
I have, but nothing crazy. I mean, there was one recently. It wasn't for. I don't bet much anymore, but I got some. Oh yeah, here's one for you. This is one of the ones that it was only for $1,000, but this was recently. It was Philadelphia game 4 or 3 against Brooklyn. Yeah. And Philadelphia was up by 2 with 8 seconds to go, and they inbounded it, and they threw the alley up to the rim. Embiid blocked it, landed into the Brooklyn, into the Phillies' hands. They foul them. They make 1 of 2 to go up by 3. And on the inbound pass, Brooklyn stole it and got a dunk and won the game by 5, laying 4.5. That was probably my best win I think I've ever had. It was only for $1,000. That was like 2 weeks ago. So, you don't really remember so many of those as you do
the losses.
A lot, but like I mean, for a big amount of money, I mean, I think the Ohio State that Ohio State Northwestern was the most I had bet on a game that I took a beat of that magnitude. You know, I mean, I've hung out with some big time gamblers that have had massive amounts of money in some games that have taken beats that I can't even describe to you. But you know, that's all kind of part of the thing. You know, and you know, Doyle was a big, you know, sports bettor. He loved betting the NFL. He was
he any good?
For most of his life, no. For the later parts in his life, he didn't bet much of his own anymore.
I heard, you know, Stu Unger, like that was kind of his downfall. He was good with the poker and the cards, but he wasn't really good.
Stu
with
is the best Jim Rummy player in the world by miles.
Yeah, that too. He even said it. I don't think anyone could ever be better than me. They may be able to be better than me in Hold'em, but never in gin.
Yeah. And you know, I actually backed this guy that used to play with all those guys, Jim Rummy, once. He passed away a couple of years ago. What was his name? My brain's so dead, it's unreal. But when you're good at this gin rummy, you just win. I mean, I never played it, you know, but I guess
a lot of memorization.
It's just memory, right? They literally
even
have a
from
complete
behind.
memory of every card that's out, pretty much. And so
Complete memory of that, and also they notice patterns with where the players like to put their cards.
correct,
And
right?
they you know, they use that to leverage the game or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy memory. Yeah.
You know,
I don't have a memory like that.
But see, it's all that also works like in No Limit Hold'em, okay? What or even in All Hold'em, okay? So like before I ever did drugs in the early 2000s, so let's just say the first 4 years of my poker career professionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever I played with, like when they sat down at the table, I literally had a photographic memory of every which way they throw their chips in or how they bet when they're weak or strong, whether they have it or not. And I had a photographic memory of it. And even to this day, as bad as my memory is, because of my drug use and because of like the painkillers that I have to be on to survive nowadays, luckily somehow for me, I can't tell you who I had a conversation with yesterday, but I could tell you.
But you can remember that.
I could remember. I still am able to remember patterns or some things that people do. You know, when I played Sean Deeb head up last week or 2 weeks ago, right? There was a certain hand that came up, and I saw him do something, and he did that exact same thing when he had the quads against me when he slow rolled me, and I said, "Holy shit, he's gonna 4-bet me this hand." And then he ends up 4-betting me, and he had jacks that hand, right? And so your brain, okay, well, at least for me, like people will ask, like a lot of people don't really understand. They don't know how good I still am at poker, which I really am really good at poker still, but is because my brain, which doesn't work very well, I'm still able to remember and see. I'm able to see things at a poker table that most people can't see. You know, and it's like
it's probably what set you apart, made you a good player.
Correct, and it's like it doesn't matter, all the GTO and all the solvers, all that in the world is not going to make up for you. Like Doyle used to say, nothing makes up for experience, right? And what makes a lot of these young kids great is they get all the experience, but most of their experience is online, right? And so you ask yourself how many of the great online players, right, really became great live game players? Not many, you know. Jason Mercier,
you can't see anything that's going on.
Jason Mercier, Scott Seaver, Justin Bonomo. I mean, there's a very small amount because
you like Ryan DePaulo? You ever hear him, Ryan DePaulo?
I don't. I follow him on Twitter. I don't. I've never played with him. I've never met him. I have met him. What am I saying? I met him like once, but I really don't know him that well. I don't know, but the truth of the matter is the people to win at poker, it's like you have to have experience. Like I asked, I was talking with Chance, right, who's one of the best players in the world right now, and I said to him, I said, I don't want to sound egotistical, but I really believe I'm playing the best no limit hold'em in my life. I feel like I'm missing just a little bit, and I was kind of trying to talk to him about a few things that he thought would help me. And I said, how is it, that I'm playing no limit hold'em every day, and whenever I play, I just know what they have. And I'm like, am I just like born with that instinct? Like I believe I am. And he says, yeah, but he says the exact same thing, is most of it is 26 years of experience, and and again, that I always played live my whole life. I really was never an online player. So, that kind of like makes a difference, I know that when I sit at a no limit hold'em table with players and I'm focused now, even if I don't know them, like within 20 minutes, like I pick up things on people. I literally, and I asked, I asked some of the top players, even playing the Poker Go games, like, are these guys all just GTO players? And Daniel says, no, the best players are great at reading people too, so, I'm really good at picking up on something on people. I that's what I look for. If somebody's real aggressive, right? You just study their body language, because all of a sudden something's they're gonna look different, and it usually means that that's the hand they have something, because if they're real aggressive, the chance of them having something all the other hands are very minute, So you just kind of look for something on somebody, and I'm very good at picking up something on somebody. It's really my greatest strength, and it's one of when Phil's really focused, it's one of his greatest strengths. That's why he could 5-bet Daniel with the 8-3 of clubs, float him on a 0-0 flop, and then he could just fold for 1 bet with ace-jack of spades, and so. Yeah. It's like people that think, oh, he's lucky or whatever. It's like you're just not lucky. The best players in the world, they see things. So I always tell people all the time, when you go to a table, try and analyze players, especially the people who are aggressive. It's a lot. It's really a lot. Listen, I know I give off things all the time. I try and think about not giving off things, but. We're human. We're not sitting at a poker table thinking, let's not give off things when we bet. Let's you try and do things consistently, but
I feel like there's also some players where they have the same movements at like a Phil Ivey. Like you can't even tell what's happening.
Everybody gives something away. You just got to study harder.
Yeah,
because
I'm not good at noticing it.
Well, exactly. You have to, like, if you sit down at a table, right? Let's just say you sit at a table. We'll go to a tournament table, right? Because that's more likely that you're going to get different types of players playing, right? You have aggressive players. You have, right away, okay, this guy is an older guy. He's kind of weak passive. This guy is, when he bets, he has it, right? So, like, you don't really have to study those people. But now you have the people that are playing a lot of pots, right? So people are aggressive and opening a lot of pots. Like, the only thing you should be doing the whole time you're there is watching them and just studying their body language, right? And something happens with me when I'm just watching somebody that I don't know how to explain it, but all of a sudden I see something, right, that just looked different than all the other times they'd been raising, right? And then I'll just ask that person, like, hey, I'll give you $100 if you show me your hand, right? Even if it's like they win nothing in the pot, right? And then they show it, and then they show a big hand, right? And then you get your confirmation that what you saw was correct. And now all of a sudden they're playing with their hand face up, So, that's just.
I like that, $100.
But it's just like it's not easy, It's just something that I'm very fortunate that I'm born with the ability to see different things at a poker table that most people don't. And
I feel like a lot of good poker players have some kind of cognitive ability that most people don't have.
they don't exactly.
Which
And
is myself. I'm the moron staring at my phone while everyone's putting on expression.
it's like me and my friend, we used to play in this game together, but we weren't allowed to. We didn't play we didn't play at the same time together. So like a lot of times we would talk when he's in the game or I'm in the game, and we're just chatting on the phone, right? And then I'll be like, I'm like, oh, he's got nothing in his hand, and my friend would be like, how do you know? I go, because I just know. Right, he did something, or he's got a big hand. And when I'm focused, I'll be completely right, and when I'm not focused, I'll be completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so it is a lot harder to see online. It's really hard to see online. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing as live. It's like if you're always looking for something, I just think that you can't just say that the solver or the GTO, whatever, tells you that this is the right move. I've got to open here. Or I've got a 3-bet here, because I just think the best players, they know what you're doing, and they pick something up on you. It's just, there's people who'll throw off false tells, but it's hard to just like say, oh, I think I'm going to throw out a false tell so-and-so doesn't see me doing this. It's just, the human body doesn't think like that. You know what I mean? We're just thinking, like this is how we're going to play. As I get older and because of my injury, it's hard for me to like play lots of hours. I know that I have to dig really deep and play at a really high level, and I have to pick things up on people. And it's one of the reasons why I like me and Sean D were talking a couple of weeks ago. It's like, I think I want to play more No Limits this year. And he says, well, why? He goes, you could play No Limit all year round, You don't get to play the big limit mix games at the World Series every year. And I'm like, that's very true. I said, but in all honesty, I can't play the No Limits all year round because I just can't play tournaments all year round. I can't. It's too hard on my body. And so
the older you get too.
Right. And so like even when I decided to play the WPT Championship, and I showed up for that. Right. And I brought my I rented the scooter. I rented the scooter, and that was kind of hard on my body, because I was getting up and down a lot. It was a different type of routine than the World Series. Like the World Series, I kind of have a routine. I pull up in my car. They pull the scooter out to my car. I then drive my scooter up to the tables, and so I have a routine that I do, and it's enabled me to be able to compete year in and year out. Now, like I said, I've made 9 10K final tables the last 3 years, and made a No Limit one last year, and I just haven't been able to run good one, but it's coming. You know what I'm saying? And
it's a numbers game, poker.
And
You're the best player in the world, but the luck turns sometimes.
And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how good you play. If you don't run good at a final table, you don't win. Like, people are all talking about this kid that's won 6 tournaments this week or whatever, right? And maybe he is the next big thing, or maybe he's a good player and the deck's smashing him. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably more likely to be. It's like 2 years ago, all I heard about was Michael Adamo. Like, oh my God, he's doing things that nobody's doing. All right, what's he won in the last 2 years? He won every tournament 2 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like you don't dominate. And I've said this so many times. It's like the difference between the best players in the world, the people who are at 10, and the people who are at 8 and an 8.5, is so small that it would take 5 to 10 years to show a difference. So let's just say, like, I believe right now that my No Limit game is a good 8.5 to a 9. Okay. I believe there's something I'm missing that I need somebody from the outside to kind of look at. and I don't think it's much. I just need to turn the aggression up a little bit more in some spots. And other than that, my sizings are great. My reading ability is great. My storytelling is great. My ability to pull the trigger is great. I just think I need to. I think what I'm missing is I need to open more pots pre-flop, and I think that's what I'm missing. So I'm gonna, kind of fuck around with it in the next couple of weeks and see what happens.
Before I go, one of my favorite moments with you, it's not really one of your greatest moments, but it's when you and the Sheikhan, or whatever that guy's name is. Yeah.
That was.
I find it hysterical.
Well, it's funny about it. Me and him are good friends, he just. I was the most aggressive player at the table, and he wanted to keep fucking with me. And then, he. How do you slam your hand down when I'm the raiser and it comes ace
and you're out of the
nine,
hand.
right? And he slammed. So now he basically gave up information that he had an ace, right? Mm-hmm. And that took away my ability to run a big bluff. You know what I mean? It cost me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that, that's what happened there. And a lot of people. The main reason that I'm not on these television high stakes shows, and you see me just on, you only see me like I go to play in a Hustler stream a couple times a year, is because I'm not a person that wants people to know how I play. Okay, if you're playing on the streams all the time and you're playing lots of matches, people are going to study that, right? And so now I have to go and study them. You see what I'm saying? Because they're studying me, and so I don't really I never understood why, unless you're getting invited into a super juicy lineup, why you want to be on TV showing everybody how you play. That's all. And I
never actually thought of that.
I want people to keep thinking that I'm tight Mike, and as long as they keep thinking I'm tight Mike, I'll keep robbing them. So, I think it's I think it's just fine. Let them just think that. Anyways, all right, we got to go. We got to talk about. I got some calls, and
Good talking to you.
And we're going to talk about Doyle. So talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Anyways, yeah. So 702-329-0480. Give us a call. I want to talk about Doyle. And we'll see.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome to Mouthpiece. Mike, what's going on?
Hi, Mike. How's it going?
Good.
I just had a question as to see what kind of tournaments you're looking at playing for this World Series, and best of luck. And I'm a big fan of what you do.
Yeah. I got all my 10Ks and bigger packages listed on pokerstakes.com. So
Okay.
I'm going to be also putting out all my small events, and I'm going to just sell 10% of my 3K and smaller to everybody for 10% with no markup. That's going to go really quick. But again, I don't know like how many of the smaller events I'm really going to play. So
How's your health? How you been feeling?
I had a nerve block done on Friday, and so I've been in a lot of pain the last 2 days. I'm in a lot of pain tonight, so
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
For sure, yeah. Right on, man. Hey, well, hopefully that the inflammation goes down and you can play, because, like you were saying a few minutes ago, I mean, you're close, man. Like, I know it's frustrating, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're sharp right now, so.
No, I'm
Best
really.
of luck to you, brother.
I know I'm really close. The only thing, and I'm a little worried about is in poker you have to be running repetitions, and I haven't played any mixed games once. I did in December, and I lost pretty badly. I didn't think I
Okay.
played bad. I lost, but I lost pretty big, and I haven't really been playing any mixed games. So, like Sean Deed says, don't worry, Mike. It's like riding a bike, and I'm sure he's right.
Yeah,
But
well, you
right,
got so much experience with it, yeah.
but right now, my no limit game, I have tremendous feel for it, and I just feel like no limits where I need to play more of at the World Series this year. But we'll see. I'm not worried. As long as I'm out of pain, I'm gonna play well.
Well, I hope, man. I hope for that. I smell a bracelet, man. It's time.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself and say it. Like last year, I was so sure I was gonna win one, and I didn't.
I watched all your videos last year. Me and my wife watched them. They were pretty awesome.
And this year, I'm financially in an absolutely good place. So the pressure on me to win is not as much.
Which is good.
It's like, but I do like, I like selling pieces of myself for the fans. But
Yeah, for sure, yeah. It's great to follow along that way too, right?
yeah.
Well,
All
that's
right,
awesome, man. Hey, thanks for
got
thanks for taking the call, man. I
got
appreciate it, and I'll probably see you down there. I would like to shake your hand.
You got
Wish
it.
you
my
good
man.
luck.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, Mike.
Sorry, Alex. I talked about Doyle for the first hour. I'm waiting for people to get back to me. Don't know what to tell you.
Hello.
Welcome to Mouthpieces, Mike.
Hey, Mike. It's Drew from Houston.
Hey, Drew. How are you, my man?
Hey, man. Oh, Doyle's gone. I mean, you've been eloquently speaking about it, but it's like he's like the last of this. Like,
He's the last
like,
of the road gamblers,
I don't know, a road gambler, a gentleman, a gambler. Because I mean, we're after this, this whole another Doug Polk, whatever that was, right? The four. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but
Don't.
it was just
I mean, what
it
I
was
think
just
of Doug.
retarded, whatever it was, but it just magnifies how there was a lineage, all right, that was passed down to you and some of the other people right now, even like Phil Hellmuth and Daniel and some other newer people of being a gambler, and that stuff doesn't go into it. I mean Benny Binion, right?
Yeah.
Benny Binion.
Yeah.
The contemporaries of Doyle, Puggy Pearson. Johnny
I
Ross.
mean, the last even like when I first was coming up, right?
Nick the Greek, right? Sailor Roberts.
And even Emerald Slim,
whatever.
Emerald Slim was the biggest name in poker. I mean, he was on the Johnny Carson show.
Those guys are all gone, and we don't have. It's like what's going on with the country, right?
Right.
Where all the men are who were men's men and who are setting marks. I mean, I'm here in Texas. There's finally legalized Texas Hold'em, right?
Not really.
Right down the street, you got Phil at Old Hampton's Inn with his new.
I haven't been there.
What's Old Hampton's Inn? You've been to Hampton's Inn, right?
Yeah, but I haven't.
They've turned it into this gambling, whatever. But I'm glad it's here, right? It's something there that didn't exist. I mean, like you said, we alluded to earlier, you can literally go on the road, like in Texas, like Doyle Brunson, but you're not going to be chased by a guy with a 30-6, or you're not going to have to walk into Benny Binion's place up in Dallas and risk your whole life. That's why he moved out to Vegas and started this whole thing, right? Yeah. I mean, but those are the last of that breed. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, like now there is no like I said. I turned professionally in 1996. I started playing Hold'em in 1991. I didn't start playing. I didn't even know what anything higher than 4-8 was until 1993, and I started playing with Johnny Moss and with Jim Boyd, who was just texting a little bit ago, in the I started playing 10, 20, 20, 40 limit hold'em, right? And then I was playing up to like 100, 200, 400, and
I want to ask a question though. Like you gave us that story about how you had your first big score, right? You had a piece of
Scotty.
What's his name in the World Series? You had this. You're running around this money. I'm sure you were flashing it, or people making people know.
Oh, I remember. I remember the
you were this
first
big neon light to like Chip and to like Doyle, and they just enticed you into that game.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. That's needed to be like what's good. I like Doug Polk or even whoever these guys are, who they're just computers or just these weird personalities. I think you need to have who's the guy. I mean, you were kind of you were kind of like taught or brought up in that system. There's other people, like I said, who are kind of that system. But these new guys, they don't want to listen to you because I've been watching this since the online boom. That you guys say
everybody, nobody, they don't. All they want to do is put out content for clicks and likes and make up a narrative they want that people will. That's what's wrong with the world right today. It's like even cable news, right? They put out propaganda and lies for views, right? So everything's about views, clicks, and likes, and it's not about honesty and reality. And so, one of the reasons why I'm very well liked in the poker world, and one of the reasons why even like my podcast, I have certain people that listen to it, is because I'm not sitting here making up stories for clicks and likes. I'm not looking to. I mean, I could do it, I felt myself even like, and I could even say I could somewhat ashamed of it, but like even when the Postal situation come up, right? And I had Postal on my show, right? It's like at the time when I was first starting the podcast, I was like, oh my God, this is so big for the show, right? Oh, getting him on, right? But then you start thinking about it, and it's like, it's like I don't want people on for clicks and views and likes.
This is not Inside Edition. This is not
right.
Some kind of but this is what it's been turned into because this is what these guys have been raised on. Hey, did you hear Doug Polk was made fun of as a little kid? That's why he's such an asshole today, because he was a fat little kid and they said he had little titties or something. I mean, it's like, give me a fucking break. Everybody has to be a victim. Even this guy he's been victimizing people for his own profit and got caught in it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're around. I'm glad you're going to do this. I hope that the people come through that you got on your phone that I can see.
It's kind.
I'm waiting for this big, because you do it like no other. When these things happen, you can come in here and you get these people talking about these people.
Yeah.
And since everybody, you've done these, like, I don't want Doyle's not to be, nobody turn out for Doyle. So if you guys don't, I don't know if it's political or they're busy, but come on, drop all I don't know if you're listening, drop what you're doing and talk to Mikey about Doyle.
Yeah.
So we can hear some cool stories. All right. Instead of like, just to get past all this.
And yet
another Doug Polk thing that's been kind of like teetering on this community.
If there's a lot of people that I thought that would would come on tonight that are just really felt like it's too soon and I didn't want to come on. And so, if worse comes to worse, I'll have more people at the end of the week.
Reverse memory, I don't get that. When did you do the Mike Sexton thing? It was like 2 days after. But
I did the Mike Sexton thing before he passed away. As soon as I found out he was really sick.
Yeah.
He was able to listen to it, so that was really good. I did the Lane Flack thing basically like 3 days after. I'm gonna tell you, the Lane Flack was really hard on me because
he's your peer, he's your buddy.
Well, I had just talked to him 2 weeks before. He came over the house and he was telling me how he's clean and everything that was going so good, and and then I find out from Ted that he lied to me and he wasn't clean, and then I find out once the toxicology came back that he died and he he died from a fentanyl overdose. That he took a line of cocaine
It's
that was
what the-
laced with
but it's-
fentanyl.
That's the country. This is the world we live in. This is what they've
Yeah.
created. I mean, a person like Back-to-Back Flack who's had problems. Man, that's a story that's being told thousands of times a day in America, unfortunately. And I don't know what your politics are, but nobody is even stopping this whole fentanyl thing. It's just killing people, right? And we have something to celebrate. That was pretty much of a bummer. I remember I couldn't get through the show.
Yeah, no.
Because that kept coming through my mind. But this guy, a pioneer.
Yeah, Doyle was the pioneer of poker, and he is probably the last of the road gambler.
And that's a lame excuse. It's too soon.
Yeah,
What?
it's
a lame excuse.
And Matt Savage is going to come on here in a minute. Have you heard from him or no?
He got back to the hotel a little while ago, so.
Yeah, and so it does kind of suck when you say it's too soon because listen, I'm in her absolutely horrific pain, and I felt like it was important for me to do this today. And so I'm going to try and get as many people to call in as I can, ask as many questions as I can. Like I said, I wish I could say more things that I knew. I wasn't that close with Doyle. I'm very good friends with his son. Every Halloween I went over, we had a Halloween party, and I would see Doyle and his wife and his sister and Todd, but I wasn't like the Jennifers and Eli and people who played with him every day. It just I played with him.
I don't know the man other than what I've seen on television and his legend.
I just could tell you he was a very nice man. He hated to lose. He whined like no other. He was a world-class whiner, but he was a good man, and he's going to be very well missed in the poker world. Very missed.
Well, Mike, I'm going to sit here and watch and hope somebody calls in.
You got it, my man. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right, later. Yeah. So, I kind of tell you like the most stories that I could tell. I mean, I was really, really. We got to stop calling people back that aren't. I really want to get people called into the show that really want to talk about Doyle. So.
Hello?
Hey, welcome to Mouthpiece. This is Mike. What's up? Hello? Okay. So, let's just, like I said, I don't have that many Doyle stories to really tell. I wish I had more. I was hoping the people that I wanted to call in, that I reached out to today. I'm kind of a little bit shocked that they don't want to say anything. Come on, so all I can do is do my best, and that's it. So. Anyways, if I don't, we've been on now for almost an hour and a half. I was expecting tons of people to come on, but again, it's a little bit too soon, and I guess so. It is what it is. Nice guy. Could we block this guy? I've had enough of him already.
Which guy?
This fucking idiot right here. So, most of the time I don't give a fuck, but here's a guy that knows nothing about me. People that know nothing about me that want to come on and talk shit. I don't need their bullshit. So, anyways, so I recently found out that Doyle was sick the last, I guess for the last 2-3 weeks. So they were somewhat expecting this. So, but I didn't know. I didn't really know much of anything. 702-329-0480 if you want to give me a call, ask questions. And I was hoping to have more people have a Zoom call connected and have all the people that played high stakes with him that I'm good friends with come on, but most people really, I'm a little bit shocked. They just, it's kind of hard, but I don't know. Anyways.
No, Drew was right, man. This is bullshit.
Yeah, it is what it is. I can't make people come on. So we'll see. We're gonna hang out here for, I don't know, 10 or 15, 20 more minutes, and see if I can. I did reach out to 2 or 3 people that said they wanted to come on and talk about Doyle, but they haven't even reached out to me tonight. So not you. I had to I had to pull myself out of bed in debilitating pain because I felt that this was really important to do tonight. But I can't, it is what it is. So anybody, if you have any, want to call in, ask any questions that I know, I could just tell you that, like I said, I played poker with Doyle like 30 times, 40 times in my life. I could tell you that he was a very nice man. I used to drive him crazy because I talked so loud, but he was always very nice to me, and the poker world is going to be missed. That's really about it. That's all. So, we're waiting to have a few people on. Anybody want to call and ask? 702-329-0480. We'll see what I can tell you.
I have the clip of when Doyle was on during Mike Sexton's thing.
Nah.
If you want.
Nah, it's okay. I just woke up at about 2 p.m. I was pretty upset about it last night. I reached out to Todd and told him that I was going to have a podcast tonight and have people on, people who knew Doyle. Talk to him. I wonder if I'm completely shocked that like nobody even got back to me. It's kind of really shocking, but it is what it is. So yeah, Phil doesn't. Phil's got his own thing. You have to understand about Phil. Phil is about Phil. He has he's doing that thing in Texas right now, and whatever. What we'll do is, if I don't hear back from anybody here in the next few minutes, when we do the podcast on Friday, I will definitely, or Thursday, I will definitely have people on. I'm sure I'll even have Todd will come on and talk about his dad. I'm sure it's, I don't know if he'll be able to on Thursday or whatever, but I'll find out when the funeral is, and I'm sure the whole poker world will kind of get an idea. And what's amazing is I was able to talk and text with Todd, but other people, it's like I guess it's they have too busy lives to, or whatever they have. I can't speak up for people. It is what it is. I apologize that I really did expect to have more people on. So what are you saying, Phil and D-Negs? I texted D-Negs. He didn't reach back to me, which is shocking because I talk to him all the time. Phil, he didn't reach back to me. Whatever, I'm not gonna. People grieve in their own ways, and some people just might be too soon for them. So, I don't know. I'm a little kind of I'm a little disappointed. So, anyways, you want to? We could take, like I said, we take some more calls. Anybody wants to call 702-329-0480. Hey, welcome to Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. Just had a quick question. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
There are a ton of like mystique and mystery surrounding like the Doyle's early days, and some of the stories that we've heard are pretty out of a movie. And it sounds like there's a couple movies being made. Do you have any insight into any story or two that you had maybe experienced firsthand or heard that is of interest or note that kind of gives some color to Doyle's life and who he was?
Yeah. I know there's a couple of movies being made that I recently heard about. I know that people like a lot of people coming up, you know, would make up allegations that I know are not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, when they used to play, they would cheat and all that. They never, you know, Doyle was a stand-up guy. There's no way I could ever see him ever cheating. You know, he's not that type of person. You know, I know that I like I said, I wish I could. I don't want to like fake it or anything. You know, I wasn't that close with Doyle. I was very close with a lot of people that he knows really well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
got it.
I was very close. Yeah. I was very close. I'm very good friends with his son. I was, but I wasn't the type of person that played in. Like I played 400, 800 with Doyle like 30 times. You know, I played at a tournament table with him maybe once. I played on high stakes poker with him like probably 10 times. Right. So. Got it.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
And every time I played with him, I did drive him crazy because my voice was so loud, and he would get angry at me. But he liked me. You know what I'm saying? I just drove him crazy. You know, I drove a lot of people crazy. Yeah. I mean, it is, you know, it is what it is. You know,
no, thanks.
But I was, I was pretty hurt about it. You know, when I heard this last night, I wasn't quite as emotional about it because, you know, he's 89 years old. Life, you know, people get older. I mean, Doyle told me like when Chip died in 2007, you know, Doyle said it, you know, that he never could have imagined him outliving Chip. Chip was like 10 years younger than he was, you know, and so maybe about 10 or 12. So Chip died at 63, and that was in 2007, 15 years ago. So that make him, he was like 11 years younger than Doyle. You know, they did everything together. They were, you know, they were really, they made a lot of money, like betting sports. They had the best. You know, they had the best bookie or the best handicappers. You know, they were true gamblers. You know, it's like there's like Phil Ivey is a true gambler. You know, there's not like the one guy called a little bit ago. He's right. There's not really any true gamblers anymore. You know what I mean? You know, like what is a true gambler? What's the definition of a true gambler? You know, the definition of a true gambler is like you hear. Like Ben Lamb was talking about stories about Doyle with the putter, right? And so, or with the wedge, I mean. And so Doyle they would go out. I mean, I didn't play. I mean, Phil told me a lot about the golf matches, and you know Ben Lamb about the golf matches. But you know, because of the fact of Doyle's like condition and stuff, he would always get a really good spot, and you know he always won. He won a lot of money at the golf courses, you know. And so, like I said, I wish to have. I was hoping that Ben would come on the show, and I was hoping that Jennifer and Eli Matt and a bunch of other people would, and so, but unfortunately, I guess they couldn't make it tonight or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, he was like true.
We got Maury Escandani.
Oh, Maury. Okay, well, we're gonna have we're gonna put Maury on right now. He knows. He'll tell you a lot of stories. All right, thanks for the call.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Is he on? Oh, we got him.
Yeah, he's on.
Maury,
Hi, Mike.
what's up, my man?
Not a good day for.
I know, and I know that you knew Doyle much more closer than I did, and you know, a lot of people on the show they you know want to know if you can kind of reach out and tell some good Doyle stories, and you know, it's not a good day. Yeah.
I mean, he. There are a lot of stories.
I know.
One thing about Doyle, there were few, like when we were growing up, that they were our seniors, the idols.
Right.
And I mean, people like Chip, you know, Doyle, and a few others that we always looked up to them, and it just feels they leave such an empty feeling when they're gone. It's hard to describe. Like, I really feel every time WSOP comes around, we gotta be looking out for him, and he's not there.
I know.
So many different shows that he came and played. He never said no. It's amazing. I mean, I used to make fun of it and saying that Doyle comes and plays these for Blueberry Muffin, and he'd always come in with a scooter and say, "You got my muffin?" Just jokingly, but yeah, I mean, stories. First time I met him.
When was the first time you met him? What year?
It had to be 83, 84.
Yeah.
In Lake Tahoe, believe it or not. I mean, that was the first time that I saw him play the cash game. And I was sweating in it, just watching him and a few people play, because he was already known then. Like, everybody saying, "This is the man," you know. Mm-hmm. Coming to the poker scene, you always want to watch the demeanor, watch what they say, watch what, you're just dying to see them play one hand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about here a little bit ago, is like, you know, when you get on the poker table, like, you know, what are you looking for? You want to watch their demeanor. You want to watch what they're doing. Like, what makes them who they are, right? And so it's yeah. You know, when I first came up, the first person like I met was Huck Seed when he won the World Series, right? And then when I started playing professionally, and you know, when Doyle was telling me, you know, you got to play higher, kid. I'm sure it's because he wanted my money.
No, I mean, look, we were lucky to have him for so long.
We were, and I agree.
My greatest memory from him is not from playing poker. Mm-hmm. Is when we were trying to create an open for high stakes poker, and open is, you know, the few minutes that it starts out. It ends out to be a poster. It never turned into being an open, but it was a poster of all the guys sitting in a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean, and making it look like, you know, that's what high stakes is: turbulences and waves, ups and downs and all that. Mm-hmm. And we had this whole stage set up. I mean, we had the stage for the game, like everyone's seen, and then there was another stage, another ballroom, that we had a boat sitting on a platform that was 10 feet high, and the guys came over and went up the ladder, sat on the boat, and we were blowing water at them, and with the fan and all that, surrounded the green screen. And there was, what are we going to do with Doyle? Doyle is on crutches. He's not going to be able to go up the ladder. So we created something on the side that he would sit in, and then superimpose him inside the boat, make it look like he is with everyone else. So I brought Doyle over, and he goes, "Am I going up there?" I said, "No. We don't think you can go up there. We created this for you here to sit here with the guys." That's all he needed to hear. I'm not kidding you. I thought he was going to rip that whole boat down. He threw the crutches away. He grabbed the ladder and he pulled himself all the way up and sat in that boat. He wasn't going to be like sitting on the side. And this is, this is not, and he was still in his 70s.
Yeah.
Like, might have been 75 or can't remember the year, but he was just, there was no such thing as no. You tell them you couldn't do it, and that's all he needed to hear. Then he'll show you that he could.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I don't know like so many stories, but I like the golf stories I heard, and you golfed with him a million times. Like he was really, I mean, even he always found a way to get a spot where he was either had the edge or had a good shot to win, right? I mean, tell us some of the golf stories. I mean, you have a lot of them.
The greatest golf story was him and Mike Sexton playing against Huck and
this is the one. Yes, yeah, I've heard about this story. Yeah, tell it.
Howard and Gus were playing the back tees, and Doyle and Mike were playing the front tees.
Right.
And the idea was that Mike couldn't hit his driver, and it's amazing they're both gone now.
I know.
And so Doyle was on scooter and crutches. I mean, it wasn't like the only way he was going to get off his cart was if something was Mike totally missed the shot. He was just going to give him just a simple swing with arms to advance the ball. That's all he was going to do. And this was a huge match. I remember Chip telling me, sell everything you got and bet on Doyle and
this was like 2004, that match, right? So
trying to remember. I think it was before that.
Yeah, it was early 2000s.
It was before at the TPC Summerlin, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it came down to the last hole, and Doyle drained a 23-footer or longer to win. So they were up. They won by 2 points. It was a Nassau match, but it was a huge, huge number.
I know.
It was like $250,000 Nassau or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I played with him a couple of times, but I never played with him when he was actually in his prime.
Right.
Doyle lived a pretty good life. Let's put it that way. And I can't imagine what the games are like up there now.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. And the thing is, it's like there's a lot of people ask about like the mystique and what it was like, when Chip and Doyle used to, I remember like when I first, was coming up, and then they used to play like big poker games, I guess, at the Dunes, and that was, of course, where the Bellagio is right now. And, like I said, I don't have that many Doyle stories as much as like you guys do, is because, I played with them on the high stakes. I mean, how many episodes of high stakes poker we filmed, like 10, 15 of them. And, and I played with them like 20 other times, probably in 4 and 800, 8 and 1600 mixed games. But, he was such a nice man. He hated losing,
Oh.
Nobody hated losing more than him, right?
No, the competition was everything for him.
Everything.
Even like as late as 2-3 years ago when he played high stakes poker.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see that he was still pretty competitive. He was he took a couple of beats. He came out swinging, and he wasn't going to go down. Nice and easy. If you were going to take him out, you had to be able to like face him shoving some chips at your face.
Well, even in the height of the high stakes poker in 07, 08 and stuff, like he was a big winner on high stakes poker. He won a lot of money.
He sure did. He won. He had the best record of number of wins. Right. He was winning like 16, 17 sessions in a row.
Right.
In the cash games between high stakes poker and poker after dark. So he had an incredible record. I mean, he definitely was way ahead on the TV games.
Yeah. And I was fortunate that I did really well on on the TV games, and it's like what do you? Here's a question for you, because people that don't know, Maury produces all the content at Poker Go, and he also runs all the content at the World Series and produces everything at the World Series. What do you think of like the streaming that's going on in the country now compared to the shows that you've always put together? We know that it's about personalities and it's a reality show, but what do you think of some of these things that are the shows that are going on now? Are you pro a lot of the things you're seeing, or is there a lot of things that you see you don't like?
You can say if you're pro and against it. I mean, the reality is reality.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back in 80s, when I first came to Vegas, poker was a street game, and so you were going to run into so many characters. I can't remember maybe 100 characters that there were. Every single one of them would be just so popular right now. People like Puggy, people like people like Treetop. What's his name? Iron Man. People like Tuna Lund, even
Tuna, Tuna was great.
There were so many of these characters. Obviously, then comes Stewie and Puggy. Doyle and Chip and Sarge. Dewey even. Dewey still play. He doesn't play much, but
yeah, he's in Houston right now playing with Phil at his new club.
Right. Okay. They were all characters. They all came into the game to make the game fun, and to keep the tourist. Obviously, they're going to lose money. You couldn't beat these guys. They were incredibly great at this game. But what they were really good at, was that you kept on coming back to playing with them because it was so much fun. You just didn't care.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference between like the streams now and those days are the characters. It's not like they're there. They're not there anymore. A lot of the kids grew up learning the game differently than them, not on the streets. They learned it in their homes, behind their desks, in their laptops. And it's hard to come up with stories and fun gestures and sayings and things like that these guys just naturally came to them. It's hard.
That's a good point. It's like, I remember we used to talk about like lineups, right? And people, a lot of it's now, a lot of these top players they're upset. Well, how come why don't I get an invite, right? Well, because we're not looking to see, it's easy to find great players that sit in front of a screen. It's about your job as a producer and is to find the right characters to create a reality TV show that creates great content that looks real and doesn't come up fake. I do know that most of these streams, like there's such good reality TV, but all of a sudden now people, because of the cravings for affirmation, that people just they'll go on these streams and they want to get famous, and they're just unauthentic. And we're basically, even when I was coming up, we were authentic. We were me. I'm the same way on a poker stream that I am. Am I any different? All right.
You and in many ways, Daniel.
Yeah.
You guys could be in any mix and mix it up, if
right.
you know what I mean. So, but in the when we put shows together, there was always a group of people that you knew when they sit across the table from each other. There's going to be just fun conversation, and the chatter is going to be through the roof. So, I'll give you an example. you could see Phil Ivey or John Hennigan in a final table of WSOP when they don't know anyone, and the focus is to win a bracelet or win a championship ring. They're totally different characters than if you see them together in a cash game. They're going to needle each other, have fun with one another, and the stories are going to fly, and all of a sudden they're different people. So the mix of people are important too. And I mean, I know there's still combinations out there that are fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our shows lately has had some characters that would definitely made it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying they're just not as many as when it was purely a street game, when poker was purely a street game. So it's just, you couldn't help yourself. You just run into so many different, just I can go back from Stardust days,
right,
when now Resort World. There wasn't a day that we wouldn't go in there and play that somebody came in and did something that you just never forget. Let's put it that way. And we didn't even know these people. They were just there all the time.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like I tell people all the time. I wish I could play on more of the TV streams. I mean, I wish, like, it's just so hard for me with my injury and stuff. But it's like I used to love it. I loved the competition. I loved playing poker.
TV streams, more the better. That's my real short and quick answer. I wish there were like 100 of them.
Yeah.
The thing about the game is when you see it more, is what is different now than 2009, 2008. Think about it. What is different? Poker is not everywhere anymore. They stopped it. They took the sites down. They made it hard for people to play online.
Right.
And all of a sudden, started like, people started doing something else. Then all the people who are interested in poker, when you don't see it, when it's not available so easy for you, you play something else, whatever that is available, whether it's esports or anything else that that gets
right.
your attention. So more streams, in my opinion, the better.
I agree.
Let it just be. You can't miss it. Anytime you want to see something live, just go search the net. There's something that's being played. But it's small or big, it doesn't matter. It's still poker, and you learn something when you watch it.
So here's a good question for you. So somebody asked us the other day, what's the most important? Is it the size of the game, or is it the characters of the game? And 69% or 70% said that it's all about lineups. And
Yeah,
so,
of course.
I'll ask you the question, like is, I played Sean Deeb in a $10,000 match. I mean, and then Daniel played Eric Pearson in a $100,000 match.
Right.
I mean, I probably, I'm not, the number fall off from the $100,000 match to me probably wasn't that much.
Yeah,
Right?
we just touched on it.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, again, let me give the example of Phil Ivey, because obviously we all respect him so much as a
Right.
player.
He is the
If
best I've
Phil-
ever played with.
If Phil was playing in a $10 million buy-in match that nobody said a word, of course we're going to watch it. It's interesting. We're going to watch and hope we see a pot that we've never seen before, something just out of this world. That is a factor. But if I put Phil with his old friends like Dwan and Daniel and Gus and John Hennigan,
Phil's a funny guy.
of course, you're going to watch him, and he's going to be like operating differently, and it's just the game becomes a fun game. So, yes, there can be the kind of poker that you get 5 or 10% of the poker world to watch. Then there's another kind that 80% want to watch.
Right.
So that kind is the lineup. It's the lineup that brings the 80% in.
Yeah.
Obviously, production, should be we try to do top quality production because our goal is always to land in linear cable too.
Right.
Be on CBS Sports, Vice TV, or in the old days NBC, and then sometimes even the mothership. So those are, like the streaming that is now popular is not for that market. It's for the market that you watch it on your phone, and I mean it's just a different type of production. It's just fine.
Yeah. What did you say, Danny? You want to ask?
How did Doyle perform in those lineups from a production standpoint?
How did Doyle perform in those lineups per production standpoint?
I mean, you watch some of the old high stakes poker. Doyle had some really funny lines. I mean, just the hand between Sammy Farah and Jamie Gold, Aces versus Kings. Doyle just, every 10 seconds.
I remember that hand. Oh my
I
God.
remember Dr. Amir saying I raised, and then he wouldn't say how much. He said I raised, and he started thinking how much. And Doyle said, "Would you mind sharing with us how much you're raising?" So he was very impatient. Like he didn't want people, doing their TV acts.
Yeah.
They want to move the game. So that impatience was very funny. And
It was.
He was
A lot of people like
say, let's go. What is like one of our opens even have him saying, "Let's go. What's taking you so long?" Like I remember that because that was him. Just saying,
it's also like people say, "Oh, I noticed when he played with you, it didn't seem like he liked you." Oh, Doyle loved me, but like it was because like I talk so loud, or I say something that he'll be like, "What the fuck, Mike?" It's like but it was just like because of his impatience, But me and Doyle got along great. I mean, he loved me, but at a table, I got him. I aggravated him a lot of times. I aggravate a lot of people a lot of times. I mean, there's a lot of people sitting next to me that's like, "Oh, just put me anywhere but next to Mike," But that
yeah,
doesn't
we're
mean.
definitely going to miss him. I mean, right behind me, there's so many different photos of him.
Yeah.
It's
Do
just-
you? I'm sure that now that this happened, we're gonna put together something big at the beginning of the series, or
yeah, well, of course, yeah. That goes without saying. We'll have a nice tribute for him.
It's so weird. Like I was sitting like in my room, like just thinking about all the old times and a lot of just the old days, and I started thinking to myself, wow, Doyle's getting up there. We're not going to have him much longer. This happened on my birthday 2 weeks ago. I'm like, fuck, I'm 55 years old, right? And it doesn't sound like I'm very old. 55 is like young, but I mean, you met me when I was fucking 27. Right. And it's like the look life. I mean, like me and Daniel were talking the other day. I mean, I met him in 1998. Me and Todd and Daniel were playing 3-handed for the pot limit Hold'em satellite to get in. And then I think Daniel busted me, and Todd and him were head up, and then they made a deal, and Todd thought Daniel was so good that he took a piece of him, and Daniel wins that tournament. Right. And we look back at that, and that's like 25 years ago, like Daniel was 20. I mean, like, look how the years go by. My dad used to always say, the years go by fast, man. You better.
When I first met you, Mike, you came into our 8160 Hold'em game.
Yeah.
And you had just, I think Scotty had just won the main events, and you had a big piece of them.
Yeah.
And you didn't know who the people were sitting to your left and to your right. One was one of the Hilton brothers. The other one was one of the Las Vegas Hotel Casino.
I remember. Yes. Yes. You told me this story.
You said, "Let's kick it up." And nobody wanted to kick it up. And these two guys said, "No, we are happy just playing 8160. And you said, "Don't you guys understand? I have like $180,000 in my box. And we have to kick this game up."
And I was playing with like guys that are billionaires.
That was worth 500 million. Anyway, but about Doyle, I'll tell you one thing that the sign of every great player that I've ever met. What did we know about him when we first met him? Texas Dolly, no limit Hold'em, that was the man. If you were playing no limit hold'em, that was the man. None of us ever thought, no, it doesn't matter what you play. You play poker, that's the man.
Yeah.
It was not a one-trick pony, and neither was any player at his rank that, we saw to be,
It's a great thing that you said that. They talk about, like, when Doug Polk put up his, the 100 best poker players of all time, right? And about 80 of them he had in there that play only no limit hold'em, right? I tell people all the time, if you can't play all the games, you're not even mentioned as one of the best poker players of all time.
Of course. We were playing stud and hold'em, and he showed up and he said, he was bored. We're playing 2 and 400 stud and hold'em. He sat in there and we all so happy. All right, this is a no limit hold'em player. Like, he showed us there's no such thing. He played the game just as well or better than all of us. 7-card stud, he knew the game inside out. I never thought, like, that's your game. You're playing it every day for 3, 4, 5 years. You feel like you're so far ahead of someone that doesn't play it every day until you run into someone that really had the raw talent.
Yeah. Well, like 7-card stud, you're like the top 5 stud players I ever played with.
He's playing like we were playing last year. I played a few times with him. They were playing like 10, 12 games. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. You talk about somebody having truly a raw talent for the game, and him, Chip, they're together now, buddy. I mean, how often did we go around saying Chip and Doyle, Chip and Doyle, Chip and Doyle?
It was always Chip and Doyle. And on my podcast last week, I brought it up, right? And I said, they asked who's the best poker player I ever played with, and I always say, best all-around player to me was Phil Ivey, but people considered the best of all time was Chip Reese, right? And it wasn't because Chip played every game at a A+ level. It's because he never played a game below a B. It was B or higher. There was no tilt. There was no, oh my God, I just lost 5 hands in a row. I'm going to tilt off the next hand. Like I tilt once in a while. You tilt once in a while. Fucking Chip Reese never tilted, ever.
And there's still quite a few incredibly talented players, and they all play all the games.
Correct.
I mean, somebody like Daniel and Phil Ivey and Gus Hansen, and these guys play all the games. They're not. And I was very surprised with some of the young players. I shouldn't say, like I'm stereotyped. They're all one-trick ponies. They're not.
No, there's a lot of them.
A series of mixed games at the studio. We didn't film it, but we had a series that went on for eight days, different games.
Yeah, I'm going to play them all.
I played a few of them. I was very, very happy to see that, unhappy that they had that kind of a skill, but happy to see that the games are still kicking. Some of the games like Stud, like Raz, like 2-7 triple draw. These guys, they could navigate around. They could, hold their own. That was pretty cool. I'm talking about, young kids.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's I tell people all the time, if you want to be considered one of the best poker players of all time, you got to do more than win at no limit hold'em. Okay, and I got famous from my no limit hold'em, and I was a great no limit hold'em player, but I made all my money playing mixed games, cash games. You know what I mean? And I don't care who you are. If you want to be considered like one of the top 100 players that ever lived, you better learn all the poker games, because I'm not gonna put you in that category unless you know how to play them all. And I do notice, I notice like even like Alex Foxen is learning all the mixed games. During the World Series, he's been playing all the mixed games. Like he's such a nice guy. I really like him a lot. And there's a lot of young talent that about that I don't really know about because I'm stuck here at home. But it is poker's in a good place,
Poker's in a good place, but we are definitely going to miss Doyle to be part of it. I mean, he'll always be part of it. I'm sure he'll obviously. I'm not saying it. He will always be the man. but
He will.
sure miss him. It's gonna take this one is gonna take a while before we get used to it.
I know. That's why a bunch of people that I thought was hoping to get on the show today they said it's just too soon. They just couldn't come on, and you know, we'll try and schedule, you know, maybe a couple weeks from now, or maybe even after the series or something. But you know, like even Doyle said he was never going to play another tournament, and then he played the Deuce to Seven No Limit. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, he played it. He played even the Poker Hall of Fame $1,000.
Oh yeah, that was last year. He played that too, right?
Yeah, he gave me his ticket. You know, just you hold on to this.
Yeah.
I said, you don't want it I don't want it.
And for the big WPT event, they promoted him a lot because they canceled the Doyle Brunson 5 Diamond, and they brought back the championship in December, which I thought was a great idea, and they broke every record, and it seems like I'm you know what you talk to these people every day, and I'm wondering if, since they have the rights, are they ever going to bring back the Hall of Fame tournament? What do you think?
I don't know.
I know they talked about it, you know, but when they see I just said to I tell people, when they saw the success of the WPT championship in December, like, and now that they've renamed Bally's the Horseshoe, and we know they only did it because the World Series is their biggest, you know, brand. So I'm wondering, like people don't know. Like I tell people all the time, back in the days, there was 2 no limit tournaments a year. There had the World Series, the main event, and then we had the Hall of Fame tournament. The World Series lasted like a month. The Hall of Fame lasted like 2 weeks, you know? And so those were the 2 big events. And, you know, now you could play a poker tournament anywhere in the world 365 days a year, you know?
Of course, yeah.
And, you know, poker's in a good place. I'm really looking forward to playing this year, and a lot of work coming up for you. And I appreciate you coming on. I know that, you know, you and Doyle were really close. And
he was a special man. He was a special man. I'm going to miss him a lot.
I am too, you know, and I like I said, I didn't know him like you guys did. Me and Todd are very, you know, we're always good friends, you know, but mostly because I drove him crazy, you know. He liked me, but he was sick the last few weeks, or is this just coming out of nowhere?
My understanding was he had a massive heart attack on Friday.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't sick.
But I mean, even, you know, he even fought that for a couple of days. You know, you have massive heart attack, you don't have. And you know, from what I gathered, from what I heard, there was really like no coming back from it. But he was kept until, you know, and Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was home when he had the heart attack. And
gotcha. Yeah, because I didn't think so, because I could have sworn like you had talked to him recently. But I wasn't sure. I knew Todd was at the hospital, and you know, that sucks, you know. But listen, the one thing I tell people all the time, and I know you believe this, is like, you know, you met Doyle like 15 years before I did. You know, then I met you, and you know, this poker community, it didn't start off like this. Like it's still a small knit community. And it's why I tell people, you know, we try and all get along and try and respect the people that come before us, because it's without them, we don't have what we have today.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and
we have a lot of good people carry the torch. We really do. I'm talking about people in their 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
I see honor written all over their forehead. So that's a good.
And for people who don't know, like Maury was really involved with the very first hole card cam with Henry Orenstein. It was like he came to you with the idea. Was that what it was? Or
Henry, yes, he did. And I went to Doyle, and he was that very first person. I said, if we do this, would you show your cards? And he didn't say no right off the bat. I figured if he showed his hole cards, everyone else would.
Right.
Henry told me to offer him $25,000. So I offered, Chip, Doyle, Gus, Barry, Howard, Phil Ivey, I would talk about. So that was the very first poker superstars. But the first person was Doyle. And, he saw it. He didn't say no. And after, I suggested, like I offered, I said, by the way, Henry okayed me to like offer you guys 25,000 each. It was a done deal. That like to them, it was really like somebody's going to pay us to show our hole cards. And I think the last thing they expected was hole card, showing the hole card is going to become a norm. They thought maybe it's just the one time they show their hole cards. And by the way, the game was supposed to be 7-card stud. It wasn't supposed to be no limit hold'em.
Right.
So even the table that we had, I still have it. It was built for 7-card stud.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We lost Henry like recently, didn't we?
Last year.
That's what I thought.
We lost Henry last year. He was 96 years old.
Yeah.
So he was 7 years older than Doyle.
Wow.
He was 96 years old, and he was still playing. Believe it or not, he was still playing 7-card stud once a week at his apartment. And his mind wasn't sharp, but sharp enough to play the game. I mean, he would still know what beats what and all that.
I know you produce all the shows. Are you able to play any if you want to?
I really am not. I don't even think of myself as producing because there's everyone else in our company is doing the production.
Right.
I'm sort of like the great uncle.
You don't have to do all the work anymore. Is that what you're saying?
I'm doing different kind of work.
Right.
But I'm just passing through. And
the reason why I bring it up is I'd like to see you win the 10,000 stud event. I mean, you're such an amazing stud player.
Yeah, if you're not filming it, we'll play it sometimes. I will play it if you're not filming it. But I think this year we are going to film it. So if anything we film, I won't play. And I won 7-card stud. I won the Hall of Fame 7-card stud.
I remember.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you were definitely top like five. You, Ivy, Sean, Hennigan were just such great stuff.
I got news for you. I'm all washed up right now. So
that's why we invite you to the fucking mix games all the time.
We're
We're like, Maury, we got a fucking 4-800 game going. We got a seat for you.
We'll make it 1500 for you.
We make sure you get a seat, brother. I love you, brother. I appreciate you coming on. And, I was hoping to get more people, but, like you said, it is, a lot. It's just really tough to take. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know if he was sick. I didn't know anything, I just, I felt obligated to get my ass out of bed and kind of do a podcast and see what I could do.
His family is devastated still. I mean, this is still way too early. But
yeah, that's what Jennifer and Eli and them said. They're really, I should have waited a week maybe, but I was just so I care so much, me.
So I totally understand. And nothing wrong with what you're doing. It's talking about Doyle. There's no such thing as early or late, or we can talk about him now and forever.
Yeah. It's going to be first World Series. First World Series without him. I mean, like he was at the very first one. We're at what, number 53 now?
Literally the very first World Series without him. I think we are number 52, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, 52.
52 or 53. I mean, I can't think straight right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on, Maury, and thank you so much. And I love you, and I will see you at the World Series in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right, my
man.
Care,
my friend.
You take care. Bye-bye. I'm Maury Escondati, everybody. Yeah, it is very, very tough situation, and like I said, I didn't know that he had a heart attack on Friday. I didn't really know anything. This was like absolutely shocking to me, but it's talking with Maury, Maury and Doyle were very close, and I think a lot of I get it. A lot of people grieve in their own way and don't really want to be seen talk in front of people right now. So, it makes a little bit of sense. Do we have anybody else on or no?
No.
Okay.
No, but thanks to Maury. Big thanks.
So yeah, I want to shout out to Maury for coming on. Maury and Doyle are really close. They did a lot of things together, and like I said, I could have had. I was hoping to have more people on. I didn't realize that, even though he died yesterday, that he just got sick suddenly. I thought that he had been sick for a while, and so that's what somebody had told me, and so I was wrong. And so I thought more people would want to come on and talk about him, and I get it. It's just it's tough for a lot of people. So, I appreciate you all coming on to this edition of the Mouthpiece, and we're gonna be on Thursday, and we'll talk more about the NBA playoffs, about the World Series. If you want to get a piece of me at the World Series, go to pokerstakes.com. You can buy pieces of me. I'm also going to be giving out free pieces. I'm going to be doing some trivia. We're going to be doing a lot of work this week. Hopefully I can get out of pain. We're going to do another video before the World Series. And then I'm going to be giving away a big percentage to the main event in my home game. So we'll talk to you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to the Mouthpiece, and Maury, thank you for coming on. Thanks for everybody who called in, and we're gonna get a much bigger group of people here shortly that'll really give some great Doyle stories. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.
The Mouthpiece.